Broadcasting live from Youngville, North Carolina and Ontario, Canada. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly show where Vicky Rowe and AJ Airments bring you the mead news, meadery info, and mead-making discussions from all over, talking with mead makers, mead owners, industry mavens, and influencers. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly podcast about mead and the people who love it and where the mead world is going. And now here are your hosts, Got Mead owner Vicky Rowe and mead and wine maker AJ Airments.
From the den of the puppies of the apocalypse in northern Michigan, the bunny pen in Ottawa, Canada, and the palatial retirement estate in Minnesota, it's Got Mead Live. Welcome to the show. Want to say thanks to all the folks who have renewed or signed up for Got Mead Patron membership over the past several weeks. You are very much appreciated. That's the only income Got Mead's got to pay for all of the things they make us give the money for, despite the fact that I keep insisting they should give it to me for nothing, but they won't listen. For those of you that are curious, patron membership is $30 a year, about 50 cents a week. Get you access to the patron boards of the Got Mead Forum and our patron Facebook group. And there are some award-winning recipes contained therein, so it's definitely something to check a look at. You can also sign up free for the forum at gotmead.com/community, and that will give you a free forum membership. And then if you want to upgrade to patron, you can do it there, and we will appreciate you. If you want to catch us live, you can find us on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook on the Got Mead page. We're also on Instagram. So on Twitch, we are twitch.tv/meadwench. On YouTube, we are youtube.com/@gotmead. X is x.com/realgotmead. Facebook is facebook.com/gotmead. Instagram is instagram.com/gotmead. And then we also have a chat on Discord. Hit the post on X, Facebook, or Instagram to get that link because it's long and complicated. So, but we'd love to see you join us there. And of course, for our social, you can find us on Facebook. Our page is facebook.com/gotmead, and our main group is facebook.com/groups/gotmead. On X, we are Real Got Mead. Feel free to tweet during the show. I generally have it up. And if you want to send us questions, comments, recommendations of people we need to have on the show or anything else, you can go to gotmead.com, put your mouse over, but do not click Got Mead Live Radio Show. Click the drop down. That'll take you to a form you can email, and that'll email all three of us. So we'll get your message. I want to do a shout out for our lovely sponsors, Honeybrook Craft Mead. You can discover Honeybrook Craft Mead with 2 Colorado locations to serve you. Visit our original Castle Rock tasting room and production facility or our brand new Littleton Mead Cottage and Garden. Choose from our 20 taps of wonderful light and refreshing craft mead. Find us using your favorite map app or visit us at honeybrook.com. That's HONNI brook.com. Which leads us to the important stuff, like what are we drinking?
I guess I'll start.
All right.
Tonight I am drinking a blend of several meads that I've been working on with bench trials. This one has a Pyment with Sauzal and Muscat grapes as the base mead, with barrel-aged Trojniak and meadow foam meads blended in.
Wow.
Coming along nicely.
Yeah. This is just, you're just fitzing around with your existing mead?
No, I got talked into entering the American Homebrewers National competition again. And I haven't entered it for 5 years because I've been kind of irritated with how they handled that competition. But I was convinced to try it again. And I was actually going to swap out this mead for a different one and put it in, but I discovered, surprisingly, that the Colorado site has turned off edits 2 weeks before delivery, despite the other sites that I'm sending to leaving them open until 2 days before delivery. So I got caught by surprise, which means now I have to take the original entry and fix it.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying. But you know what? It's turning out okay. So it'll probably be just fine. They had that little surprise nicely buried in their second or third page of rules. So
Okay. I see AJ still working up hers, so I'll go next.
okay.
I can see her typing in the show doc.
Yeah.
Okay, so I grabbed the last bottle of mead I have from Ryan Kretschmauer, who we had on last month, and this is a chocolate strawberry, 14% methanol. I mean, this thing is just, it's really good. Seriously aromatic. You get the bright summer aroma of strawberry wafting from the glass, and then a hint of chocolate kind of hides behind the strawberry and the aroma. Once I took a drink, there's this huge strawberry flavor out front, and the chocolate swirling around it like the berries were dunked in chocolate. It's just excellent. And the honey provides sweetness, but is otherwise pretty mellow and keeps a low profile. So the chocolate covered strawberries really shine on this. Finish is long, sweet, and tart. Really nice mead. Ryan, good job.
Well, I've got some of Kevin's lingonberry estate hunt with estate honey.
Yeah. Was the lingonberry with estate? Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends on which version you got, I guess. That's kind of an annual for me. So
it's number 108.4.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably with the estate honey. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
0.4.
Yeah, 2021.
Cool.
So yeah, it's got an absolutely beautiful aroma, and it's got a nice little bite right before the swallow, and it fades very quickly into a nice, I just ate something really tasty kind of finish. So thank you for that. I didn't know what lingonberries tasted like, and now I kind of do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for people who haven't had them, they are native to the United States. They grow in northern parts of the country where it's cold. They require freezing. Those lingonberries in particular actually come from Finland. And my typical description for people is that it's like a juicier cranberry. It has that kind of tart character and some of the same flavor, but it's a whole lot juicier.
Yeah, it's got an aroma that's reminiscent of, but not the same as a cranberry.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's its own thing for sure.
We're gonna sit here and delve into flavor profiles and stuff. Tonight we have Melody and Kyle Stout. They are the new owners of Spacetime Mead and Cider in Pennsylvania, and we brought them on tonight. They've been owned since November. You guys, is that when you took over?
So we took over in August, but we opened up our new location. We actually opened everything up in November.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I heard there was a new location. Congratulations. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Do you still have that the original location in that old building?
Yes, we do, and we make it there as well.
Good deal. Yeah, I like that. It was a cool old building. So
yeah.
Don't know how good it is for making mead in, but it was a cool building. So.
Our mead making spot is pretty small, but we managed to make it work, and the rent is really good. Then the landlord is super nice, so we're taking the win. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. These days, you gotta take those where you can find them, for sure. So, what are you? Okay, so what got you? Tell us a little bit about how you got into mead, I guess, in the first place.
So, we started out in 2021. Kyle and I met in 2021, and we, on one of our dates, decided to pop by Colony Meadery, and I fell in love with mead, and I was like, "This is awesome." So shout out to Colony for starting me on mead for sure. But we really enjoyed it. We started taking our friends there, and then I got this little idea where I was like, "Hey, I bet I could make that." So during COVID, I decided to start making it, and I made my first batch, and it was absolutely disgusting. It was so horrible. It was ridiculously sweet. It didn't clear whatsoever. It was yeasty, but I very proudly took my first batch to a little meadery in Virginia, Misty Mountains Mead Works.
Oh, Misty Mountain's still there? Good deal.
Yes, I took it to them and I was like, "Look what I made!" And they were super nice about it. They were like, "Yep, it tastes like mead. Little yeasty, but it's a good first try." And
Yeah.
so I was like, "I'm gonna keep making this." So I did. And then I started going to the homebrew meetings and I entered some competitions and I started winning competitions. And that was
Nice.
when I was kind of like, I kind of want to do this full time if I can. So we've been moving forward with that goal in mind until around the summer of last year when it all kind of came together.
Nice. So you got sucked into it the same way a lot of us did.
Oh, yeah.
Tried that, neither
Yeah, I
worked.
wonder if I can make it.
Yeah. With me, it was, I had it for the first time and went, I can do better than this. Because the first one I had was Chaucer's. That was all there was.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I almost, it's really easy to do better than Chaucer's, that's for sure.
Yeah, Chaucer's is better now than it was, but it's still
That's
pretty
true.
pretty basic mead. Yeah, well, they reformulated after they entered the Mazer Cup, got their butt handed to them, and found out that there was home mead makers that were making better mead than them.
Oh.
They went home, they reformulated, and they came back the next year and took gold.
Well, that's awesome that they were
It
able
was
to learn
awesome,
from
yeah.
that. That's so cool.
Exactly. It is so cool because there's a fair number of mead makers that are like, "Yep, what I do is the right way, and that's it."
Right.
And it's like, no, we're always learning. There's so much still. I mean, shoot, I've been making mead for more than 30 years, and I still learn stuff.
Absolutely. So I guess I haven't had their updated version. So yeah. That's awesome that they, were able to take criticism and really make a good product. That's the hallmark of somebody who makes a good mead.
Yeah. Being willing to learn is a big deal. What about you, Kyle? I understand you're not like a huge into the mead making thing, but it sounds like you're a supportive person.
So yeah, I ended up first time ever learning about mead was I want to say 2018 when I went to DeSales University here in Center Valley, and I met a professor, David Longenbach. He
Mhm.
he was my history professor, and he's like, "Oh, if you ever get a chance in your lifetime, go try some mead." It, he goes, "It's different than beer and it's different than wine." And he says it's made with honey. It's really good. He goes, "Go to Colony and try it." And from that conversation, I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I met Melody, and Melody, we're trying to think of new things to do. And that's when I went and told her, I said, I remember my professor saying, let's go try Colony Meadery and try mead. So that's what happened. From there, Melody started enjoying making mead. So I ended up telling her, I said, "Eh, your hobby is getting a little bit, I don't know." She was making a fun of it. She goes, it was expensive. Yeah, it started becoming expensive. And I said, why don't you just make this into a business? And I'm a person who is all about business, always want to run my own business. And I ended up trying to support her in whatever she wanted to do and kind of found the Lehigh Valley home brewers, which were super helpful, helped us kind of step up our game in mead making. And then from there, we were going to go under a different name. We met Dan. We met him multiple times before when we were just going trying meaderies.
Mhm.
We were going to go buy a rack from him, and uh, he was looking over our business plan. He says, "Why don't we?" He goes, "Maybe you should just buy the meadery from me." And we talked over details, and here we are today.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I basically do, I don't even know, a lot of the groundwork. and marketing and coming up with new ideas. I'm the ideas person. Melody's the mead maker and the books person.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Personally, I think it's pretty cool that Melody is the mead maker because there are not
It's
a
unusual.
whole lot of female
Lead.
brewers, mead makers, cider makers in the country. It's mostly a male-dominated profession, and
Yeah. And
I
even
think
less
it's pretty
so when you get
cool
into the
to
pro
see
ranks.
someone stepping into that role. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Hmm.
Girl power, man. That's so cool. I love to see it. I do. I mean, I cheer loudest usually, and I cheer pretty loud for you too, Kevin. Hey, congrats on you just getting this. Everybody, Kevin took boss at Valkyrie's Horn this past weekend. Woo! All right.
Woo.
As well as half a dozen other medals.
To no one's real surprise.
So, yeah, he cleaned up. So,
I mean, we
I
have
was
high
kind of
expectations of you.
surprised, actually.
We have high expectations of you, Kevin.
we really do.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I was still kind of surprised. We can come back to that later. I do have
Yeah,
one little
sorry, I
story
just
I wanted
needed to sidebar
to
that and
share,
get it
but
in there. But
yeah.
have you guys gone to any of the competition? I know you've entered comps, right? You won from
Yeah.
home. Have you entered any of your pro stuff yet?
No pro competitions yet. We're still, trying to balance our budget right now, and
Yeah.
so there's not a lot of room for competitions. And I've expressed an interest in it, but Dan has counseled that we hold off on that until we're a little bit better balanced on the budget.
Yeah. You want to
And
be able to give your whole attention to making those award-winning meads,
exactly. So I've traditionally gone to Valhalla each year. I think I missed it last year because of the dates that they were having judging. But that's usually the only big mead competition I get out to.
So you've actually gone to it. You've attended, not just entered.
Yes, both.
Okay.
Cool. Have you worked at the comp at all, or pretty much just kind of go and hang?
Just judged. That's about it.
Okay. Oh, no, that's cool. That's work in the comp.
Okay, yeah.
Judging is work. Yeah, judging is work. People always tell me, they're like, "Wow, that must be awesome. Getting to just do nothing but drink mead for 2 days." I'm like, it's exhausting.
It is. I tend to go to the local competitions. So typically, and this is kind of it's because mead is often lumped in with beer. I try to go to some of the local beer competitions that accept mead and help them with their mead judging, because I think sometimes mead gets judged as if it's a beer, and I think that can limit the spectrum for mead. So I try to go and be kind of somebody who knows a bit about mead, who's helping out with that.
Yeah. Yeah, we run into the judge it like a beer folks from time to time still. It's not as much as it used to be back in the day before when BJCP brought the mead test and mead certification out. Then you started to see some change. But yeah, I was judging for a long time before that test came out and the certification, and it was like, this is not a beer. And as Ken Schramm would always say, the points you don't award at a competition, you don't get to take with you when you die.
Yeah, that's true.
There'd be beer judges in there, and they're judging it up from 0. And you're like, well, this is like a 7-point mead. And it's like, yeah, no, you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
We actually had to, and we ended up having to put in base ground rules saying, if it makes it to the table in a glass, give them 25 points.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, it keeps, you don't want to discourage people, like, oh my God, this totally sucked. No, they're wanting to get better. They're wanting to see how, good it is, or whether it could use improvement, and if so, how, and all that. I mean, nobody enters a comp to get treated like crap.
Right.
So pretty much all the comps have instituted some kind of, be cool about this. And as I understand beer judging is a lot more down and dirty than than mead judging is turning out to be, or so I've heard. So the
My
fact that they
sorry, go ahead.
no, and I was just going to say the fact that they have to tell you that about the whole stop being so stingy with points thing.
Right. My experience with mead has been that there are generally a lot less faults and it's a lot more subjective.
Yeah.
Like when I judge beer,
Mm.
I tend to run into the gamut of faults in a beer, and probably because of how complicated it is to ferment a beer. But with mead, it tends to generally be pretty good, and then it's is this one really good or is it just good? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, mead
Mhm.
boss tables are like that because they're all category winners, and you get, especially if you're in a big comp like Valks, you end up with a table full of really excellent meads, and now you've got to decide which one of these is the best.
Yeah.
And not just I like this one more, but best, the one that best represents its category over all the other ones in their categories. And yeah, I love sitting bosses, but they're also like high pressure because it's,
Too. Yeah,
yeah.
I did boss this year on the commercial side, and the top 5 inspired some lengthy discussions.
You guys were at it for a while.
But it was worth it. There's some
Oh,
really
yeah.
good meat out there,
There is
and
some
it's
really good
it's
meat out
awesome to see that. Really
Yeah.
fun to be able to do.
Huge change from the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
No, back in the
Fact, just in the
day.
last 10 years, the home
Mhm.
brewer stuff has just consistently gotten better every year. It's
Mhm.
you don't run into many bad ones anymore. There are always a few, but not
Well, I
many.
would say there's always a few. There's a lot of okay ones, not okay Tom
Right.
Repa style, but just like average meads. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but there's a whole lot less of the oh my god, you put this in a bottle meads.
Yep. So tell us a little bit about your PA preferred winery. What does that actually mean? How is that how does that work? What kind of ingredients have to be included in that? How do they decide?
So
How do you
PA Preferred Winery is a winery that has a certain percentage of its product that is made with only Pennsylvania produced ingredients. So we're talking for us only Pennsylvania produced wildflower, honey, and then only fruits that grow in Pennsylvania that were made as an agricultural product of Pennsylvania. If I was fortifying it, I could use a liquor that was made in Pennsylvania, something like that, a barrel from Pennsylvania. So a certain percentage, and I believe it's 75% of our product has to be from Pennsylvania like that in order for us to be PA preferred. So it's kind of a prestigious thing, and we're one of only a few wineries in the area who are Pennsylvania preferred. It's a lofty goal, and it's something that Dan has really curated in his time as the owner because it's difficult to achieve. It's easy. It's honey like from a local honey producer is more expensive than the big box honeys.
Mhm.
So it's something that has a lot of value to it.
So I'm curious about the 75%. Is that 75% of the fermentables, or does it mean like, okay, you use your local honey, but you buy 9 spices from outside of PA? Well, that's 90% of your ingredients that aren't PA. How does that actually work?
So my understanding of it, and I haven't. This is from the way Dan explained it to me, so I could be understanding it a little bit differently here. But for a product to be PA preferred, for the product itself, the bottle that I'm handing you, it has to be 100% PA ingredients. For the winery to be PA preferred, 75% of the bottles we produce have to be PA preferred.
Okay.
Now, again, I could be misunderstanding that because I've done a little bit of research, but not a whole lot. And they like to use very vague terms on the website. And then you have to actually like read the laws about PA preferred that were passed by the government. So, and I haven't gotten super deep into those just yet myself. So I'm exploring that further to make sure that I'm understanding that correctly. But that's how it's been explained to me.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot. Didn't realize I was doing that. So
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just clarifying in case I'm getting it wrong.
okay.
So that's a thing Pennsylvania does. That's cool.
Yeah.
And there's
think-
multiple states that are going that route. New York came out and did a farm winery bill, and we watched the meaderies go from 2 meaderies to 12 in less than a year.
Wow.
When they rolled that out, yeah, it was crazy. I went to the conference that they had in the in upstate New York shortly after that law was rolled out, and yeah, there was meaderies coming out of the woodwork.
That's amazing.
It changes everything. You know, can you guys buy from crap? What's the name of the big honey production place? And
Dutch Gold.
yes, thank you. I drew a blank there. Can you
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're in Pennsylvania, but their honey isn't necessarily Pennsylvania sourced.
Yeah, so we can't. Well, I mean, we
Mm.
can, but it's not PA preferred.
But it's not
So
PA
if I'm-
preferred. That was what I
if
was
I'm-
curious about.
If I'm gonna do a batch that doesn't include, like it has, for example, it has pineapple, or God forbid pineapple, or like say a
Hey,
Chilean
pineapple's
grapefruit.
good.
Pineapple is good. It's hard to ferment though.
It is, yeah.
Or like I'm doing a Malbec with Chilean juice, so I'm gonna put some Dutch Gold Orange Blossom in there. But if I'm trying to make it PA preferred, we do have a local honey supplier that we get from most of our honey.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I didn't know if Dutch Gold was considered in or out of
It's
state,
not.
but it makes sense that they
sad.
wouldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has to be an agricultural product as
Mhm.
opposed to like just
Yeah, they're
processed.
just
If that makes sense.
they're just a honey producer, not a sourcer, or a sourcer, not a producer. Whatever. It's not their honey.
Right.
Yeah. So your deal is 75% of your product is made using local ingredients, which would be PA preferred, but then 25% of your mead might not meet that designation. So that would be an example that you just gave, right? Dutch Gold honey, Chilean Malbec. That would be the other 25%.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So are you continuing with some of the meads that Dan had in there, or are you going off and doing completely different stuff now?
We are absolutely continuing with some of Dan's recipes. Part of the attraction was getting the recipes with the business as well, because Dan has some really great stuff. So we definitely wanted to be able to continue on what he was doing. I'd say maybe a third of what we're doing is my recipes right now, and the other 2/3 are Dan's recipes.
Okay. So you're ramping up fairly quick. That's good.
Yeah.
We have a question from the chat, and it harks back to the pineapple, and he's saying, what makes pineapple difficult to ferment? He says he's getting prepared to make a lychee and pineapple mead, and keen to know any tips or traps to be aware of. So I guess we have a sidebar discussion on fermenting pineapple here.
If you ferment pineapple juice, you have a chance of it exploding, having bottle bombs.
That's been our experience.
Yeah, and we also, in our brew club, pineapple for other mead makers in our brew club said, yeah, pineapple, it likes to re-ferment and blow up.
Interesting. So even if you're sulfating and sorbating, it still does that?
Yep. So I
Wow.
have one recipe in particular that's very popular to drink, but it includes pineapple juice. And the first couple times I made it, I fermented the pineapple juice and then it blew up. And then the next couple times I separated shelf-stable pineapple juice, and then I sulfited and sorbated that pineapple juice, and then I added it to the already sulfited and sorbated mead, and it blew up.
Oh my
And
God.
then,
Wow.
and then I thought I had the recipe correct. I thought I had it all figured out because it hadn't blown up in a couple times, and I produced it professionally, and it blew up.
Oh no.
Jeez.
So
Oh my God.
I was giving out several free bottles to random customers who had explosions in their houses. So that is why I don't
Oh.
ferment pineapple anymore.
Wow. I could see why that would want you turning away from, like the heck with pineapple.
Right? Exactly.
and I imagine the acidity probably doesn't help much either. I mean, you get a lot of
No.
acid with pineapple.
Yeah, and I mean, it was delicious to drink for the, month
Oh,
that
yeah.
it was shelf stable.
Till it
But
blows up.
right. So,
That's hilarious. I haven't played with I mean, I love pineapple, but I just haven't played with any pineapple meads, though that's probably coming given all of the Hawaiian honeys I've got. But that's interesting. I hadn't heard so much about it refusing to settle down and not blow up. That's crazy, man.
yeah. So we're all about, using fresh ingredients and high quality ingredients. And let me tell you, I'm moving to pineapple flavoring if I ever need pineapple again.
Understandable in the circumstances.
Yeah.
Things blowing up are never fun. I've done my share of mopping mead from the floor, so
Oh,
see-
yeah.
Mhm. Under the freezer.
under the
Probably
freezer.
still
Yeah.
there. Never did find that one cork from the lime mead that popped.
Yeah. I had one put a cork all the
Someday
way
you
across
will.
the basement. Yeah, someday you will. Probably when
Yeah,
you
if you move
when
out.
you move out. If you move
Yep.
out.
Exactly.
That's
Probably
when we
behind
found
the
ours.
shelving on the other side of the room. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I found the ones that had popped from my raspberry and went all the way across the basement after when we were moving out. Not only was there sticky crap on the floor that I had to clean up, but I found the corks like way back in the corner behind the Bowflex, on the
Oh, jeez.
it's like, oh really? So yeah, mine was a cherry mead that did that though. But yeah, it can do that. So what have you been venturing into then outside of the stuff that Dan gave you?
So, I had a few recipes that I kind of figured out were decent enough recipes that I wanted to produce. One of them was a really popular Christmas mead that we actually almost sold out of before Christmas. I was excited about that. It was pomegranate and mulling spices. So it's kind of like almost like a glue vine.
Yeah.
And you could heat it or you could drink it chilled, or my favorite was room temperature. And then I have a ginger and lime and orange blossom honey one that I make that is my best seller to this day. Like I
wow.
tried to do a social media thing once where I was like, I'm gonna put the best seller for the week on social media. And it was that one 3 weeks in a row, and I just gave up posting on social media.
It's the same mead every week.
Right.
We have more than one,
Okay.
y'all.
Right.
It's
So
funny.
yeah. And then of
I can
course
see why
my
ginger
infamous
lime would
pineapple
be-
one.
Yeah, I can imagine the ginger lime would be nice. That's a nice flavor combination.
Yeah, it's a really pleasant one. It definitely got more gingery after I bottled it, but it's still really pleasant.
Did you go with raw ginger? Did you peel it?
So I did not peel it. I chunked it and I froze it, and then
Okay.
I added it to the mead.
Smart. I got that input. It never would have occurred to me to not peel it. I always peel my ginger, before I put it in meals and whatnot. And when I went to a meadery up in Maryland run by a Polish biochemist.
Ooh.
Guy's got like a PhD in biochemistry. It makes some amazing meads, and we got to talking about he had a ginger mead that was just excellent, and I was like, so talk to me about how you do this, and he's like, chunk up the ginger, and he says, man, my hands hate me, and he showed me his hands. He's got like little cuts, all over the place.
Oh,
Hands
yeah.
look like he's been through a war, and he's like, and just chucked it in there. And he says, and I went with a lot. He says, I wanted something because this was, I'm one of those, I like the Bernie ginger ale, like real ginger ale.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the
Ginger beer,
gingery,
kind
the
of ginger ale.
better. Yeah, exactly. I want something that screams ginger, not
Punch you in the
whisper it.
face, ginger.
Right, yeah, it should set you back, go, "Ooh, yeah, that's good." So, and his mead did that, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I just chunk it in there." And I said, "Peeling that must take you forever." He says, "I don't peel it. I want the peels."
Yeah.
And that
Mhm.
led us
Yep.
off into the whole conversation about why would you want the peels? And he was like, it adds depth of flavor that you're not going to get. You get more complexity. You're getting a whole bunch of things there that if you take that peel away is never going to happen. And, that made sense to me. So now I don't peel my ginger if I use it in a mead or a cordial.
Yeah.
I was always too lazy to even peel it when I'm cooking with it. So. But then I am a bad example. Don't do what I do.
Yeah, well, I think you would like my ginger and lime mead then, because it is very gingery. It's got that kind of ginger beer kind of flavor.
Nice. That's cool. Are you guys on Vino Shipper yet? Or still?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah.
We're on.
We're on.
Okay. I think Dan was on there before, so
Yep.
people
We
in
are
the chat
there.
are saying, Austin in the chat, who's a Michigan guy, he's like, Verner's, which is like the Bible to us. Verner's is like, you got a cold here, have some Verner's. You're feeling stomach's upset, have some Verner's. Verner's is ginger ale. So, but it's a state drink, kind of.
Ah,
Is it a ginger ale or what? I don't understand.
Verner's is a ginger ale. Yes.
Okay.
It is not alcoholic anyway. It's pop.
Yeah.
Soft drink
All right.
ginger ale.
Yeah.
Got it.
But it's kind of the go-to for. God, I grew up every time I had an upset stomach, every time I had the flu, every time I had a cold, ginger ale. Get the Verner's out.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Schweppes
like
So,
beer.
on the topic of ginger, I think there's basically 3 flavor profiles you can get out of ginger. So if you
Okay.
peel it, it's very fresh. It's not as earthy.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave the peels on, you get some earthy notes, and it makes the ginger bite a little more harsh.
Yeah, I think it
And
deepens
then,
it some.
yeah, well, that's partly the earthiness I think that you get from the peel.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, more background flavors.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third, which is something I'm particularly fond of, is candied ginger.
Yes, I use
yeah.
that when I
You
make
get
cordials. I use a candied ginger for a cordial, and it's amazing.
right. You get this more gentle but still clear ginger flavor, and
Mhm.
it comes across with that bit of a candied note that it's delightful. But
It-
of course, it depends on what you're going for, right? If you want a strong ginger flavor, that's probably not the method you're going to use, because you're going to need to use a lot of it, and I'm not sure you'll even get there.
well, if you're
But
going pro, yeah, that would be if you're doing it
it
pro
just
and you're
depends
making
on
a
what you
big
want.
batch. Yeah, I mean, I've used candied ginger for cordials, and you're right, you use more than you would with regular ginger, but the
Mhm.
flavor, the ginger notes that I got out of that were every bit as sharp as what I would have expected had I gone in with just straight up ginger. In fact, I was kind of impressed with how sharp it was.
I love eating candied ginger.
I keep a bag of
Mhm.
it around.
It's,
That's my go-to if
I
there's
know,
not.
it's delicious.
Yeah,
I can't keep it around.
yeah. Well, no, same. If I have it, it gets eaten. But it's like,
And it's
I
so
got
easy
a
to make.
I got
yeah,
a 5-pound bag of candied ginger, and I keep it next to my bed, and I
yeah.
eat it before bed.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
Yeah,
plan to
it's a
me.
great ingredient for mead,
It is, yeah.
Honestly, any of those ingredients that have particularly strong and clear flavors, I think are great to use, for accent notes and so forth in a mead.
Mm-hmm. I would tend to
Yeah.
agree. Do you go playing with flavor combinations, like using maybe the flavor Bible or anything like that?
Um, I haven't used the flavor Bible yet. I haven't gotten around to it, honestly. I do
Okay.
mess around with the flavor combinations from time to time. Do some 1 gallon batches to see what's gonna work, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But other than that, I haven't really looked into the science of it super duper yet, but it will be coming. I've had that recommended to me a few times, and I'm putting it on my to-do list for that.
There you go. It's a great resource, if only because you can go in and fits around with combos that you might not otherwise have thought of.
Yeah.
You know, you come up with things, because I'm always fiddling. I do that when I'm cooking too. I'll sit there and go, well, this has got blah blah blah. You know, I think it needs a little curry or garam masala or whatever it is that I'm planning on putting in there. My husband made chicken today, and it was like, and I was like, oh, I really like this. What flavor combination you go for? And he's like, well, it was pepper and cookie seasoning, and not cookies, but this is the brand name is Cookies, and they make a kind of a mixed seasoning that we buy by the case. The stuff is great. And he says, and some slap your mama, which is a Cajun seasoning. And I was like, oh, that's where this is coming from. This is slap your mama. Get some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah.
What's a weird mead that you have made that turned out well?
Ooh. Trying to think. Probably the oddest one I did was one of those Skyrim meads. I did the juniper berry and hibiscus one, and it wasn't weird in that the recipe is weird. It was just the flavor profile turned out weird, but then it was still really yummy. And I couldn't figure out. I was like, this is bizarre, but I like it. So, and of course, I tweaked the recipe a little bit to my own, but
Sure.
yeah.
Did you forage your juniper berries and whatever other ingredients were included?
No, I did not. I don't have access to foraging in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
My in-laws are looking to buy some property in West Virginia, so when that happens, absolutely I will be foraging.
Yeah.
But yeah, for now,
Allentown's kind of industrial, or at least it used to be.
Yeah, it is. It's built up for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. The Skyrim, it's funny that you mentioned the Skyrim thing, because I've seen quite a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I got interested in the Skyrim mead, and here they are now, you know. And so, while the meads that it has in there are odd, to say the least, it's nice to see that it's encouraging people into our obsession. I mean, our hobby, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, at least for me, Skyrim is the first situation where I explored professional meaderies, and I didn't even realize the connection until years later. I was going into professional meadering, being like, wow, this is just like Skyrim.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. It's funny, when I was playing Skyrim, I never noticed that. Yeah. And I don't know why I didn't, because, you know, Skyrim was out long after I started making mead. I mean, there wasn't an internet or anything like that, or computer games for that matter, when I got started. But here's somebody else on the chat saying the Skyrim cookbook was the gateway to the hobby. So,
oh yeah,
good on them.
I have the Skyrim cookbook.
Do you?
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard it mentioned. I got into it by way of history. So, you know, for me, it was like looking at old, you know, historical stuff, like, you know, the Queen Elizabeth mead recipes and stuff, and Sir Kenelm Digby's recipes, and just stuff like that goes back into like the 1300s and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's super cool, in my opinion, to learn about mead history, because it's so not often talked about unless you're looking for it.
Yeah. There's a couple of good books on it. If you want to check out alcoholic beverages, and particularly mead in history, any of Dr. Patrick McGovern's books. He was the booze archaeologist. Rest his soul. He died last year, but he did some great stuff. We had him as a keynote speaker at one of the mead cons back in, I think it was 2018 MeadCon. But He's really cool. And if you want to look at like the old timey recipes, look for a copy of Sir Kenelm Digby's Closet Unlocked, and you shouldn't have to buy it. It's available on a lot of the open source literature places. They have things that because it doesn't there's no copyright attached to it. So, and then is it? There's another book that I have, but I think it's out of print. Shoot, what was the name of her book? I hate when I lose the words. She did a food waste book called "Take 1,000 Eggs or More," and this is I can't think of it. I'll email you or text you when I remember the book. But she had mead recipes going back like 1,000 years almost, and then we've had this gal on the show a couple times. Laura Anjotti has written 2 books on mead making. The most recent one is called Gold and Sweet Ensnaring, and it's mead in Great Britain from like the beginning of history to Elizabeth I.
Wow.
And then she's also written, let's see here, I can't remember the title of her other book. Now I'm going to have to Amazon it. Okay. Mystery of Mead is her website, mysteryofmead.com. And then her other book is called Welcome Mead, and that's WELL, come, COME, mead. And it's 105 recipes from the 17th and 18th century English receipt books.
Wow.
It's really good stuff. She's a cool person.
So interesting.
Yeah, it is. If you're into history of beverages, it's a pretty cool thing. And I used to do food waste demos and show people how to make mead, beer, cordials at events.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
there's a local meadery in our area that uses a medieval recipe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a Stonekeep Mead and Wine Cellars.
Stonekeep?
Yeah, they're super nice people. But yeah, when we first went to visit them, they were like, "Yeah, we use the medieval mead recipe." I was like, "That is amazing."
That is cool. Well, there's actually historical categories in a lot of the comps now. That and oddly enough, like 2/3 of the meads that land in those categories tend to be Polish meads, but but you can also branch off into the old historical recipes, and there's been some real interesting ones that I've had the opportunity to try.
That's so cool.
It is. Well, and you look in the ingredients that they use, some of the stuff they do is like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, a friend of mine in the SCA refused to judge the one where they used the chicken leg.
Yeah, I remember that one. The chicken leg one, I mean, that recipe. But yeah, I would refuse to too. I did do a clear your mead with egg white once just to see if I could.
I would imagine it works.
It did. It worked really good. Thing spreads out like a jellyfish, and it just kind of goes and then just sinks to the bottom and takes everything with it.
Wow. A legitimate fining method.
Yeah, it actually works really well. I was kind of surprised. I did not expect it to work as good as, say, like cheetah sand or something like that. So that was really cool to see it do that.
Yeah, I think like if you're putting a chicken leg in, which you could do that safely, you just have to cook it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would just toss it in there. Like the way we make mead now mostly is there's no heating of the honey, right? So
yeah,
I don't think I would just chuck it in there with our current methods. But if you were going to add some water, you could do a 20-minute boil or something and put it in, and that'd be perfectly safe. Doesn't mean you want to, but you could. But it's like Wind Coop Brewery in Colorado, in Denver, the Rocky Mountain Oyster Stout.
Yeah.
With the real deal,
Apogard
So-
meadery
Cooked,
and
sure.
taco. Yeah, Apogard meadery.
I'm
and their
assuming
taco.
they were cooked because in brewing you do have to do a boil,
Yeah.
but I hope they were cooked.
Really? Please
I
tell
had
me.
it. I didn't
Yeah.
die.
Yeah. And see, I never got a chance to try the taco mead that John Apogard made, but as I understand it, it was a love or hate mead. People either thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, or they, just couldn't stomach it. But it nevertheless sold out really fast.
hmm So I think that actually brings up a good point. If you're a small meadery, and that's one of the questions I do want to ask is how big you are in terms of production capacity. But if you're small, you can turn around these kind of novelty meads, right? And there's a definite audience for that, especially I think today more so than ever. A lot of customers come in and they're looking for what is the new hot thing? What do you got? I had that one last week. I don't want that one anymore. I want something new. So maybe tell us a little bit about like what your production capacity is and how you approach some of that adventure-seeking audience.
So we absolutely are very small right now. We're making the majority 200 and 300 liter batches. So we're itty bitty, but we're looking to expand in the future. Hoping to scale up a little bit. We are definitely doing some of those novelty batches. So say for an event, like for example, in May, we're going to a peanut butter festival. So I'm making a peanut butter and jelly mead for the peanut
Yeah.
butter festival.
Cool.
We do things.
PB&J meads are
You should
popular
make.
too.
Oh no!
People love
Here's another idea for you.
Hmm.
It's peanuts, right? So make a Thai mead.
Mm, that's a good
Thai
idea.
spices with peanuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
had one. Arthur Frankie made one for a video that we did for the AUMA, which hasn't been released, but it really works. So that's a suggestion you might want to try out.
That's
It'd
a good
It'd be
idea.
different,
It would be,
It'd be
yeah.
totally different.
And
Yeah.
still have that peanut thing going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good idea. I'll definitely look into that because we're definitely small batching it. We're doing 3 and 5 gallon batches for those types of novelty needs. So
Sure.
I'm not doing anything massive. So I could absolutely trial it, and if it's real popular, make a bigger batch. So
There you go. Those kind of
Yeah.
meats tend to sell really well. People like unusual. I mean, it's
Yeah, exactly.
a lot
That's
of
what I'm
this
talking
is,
about.
yeah, a lot of this is because the beer crowd was always demanding new and weirder things. So
Right.
it's
Right,
kind of
oh,
flowed
yeah.
over into mead. It's like, what's new and different today?
Well,
Yeah.
and it's really easy, maybe not easy, but it's something you can readily do in mead because your ingredient choices are so vast
Oh,
compared
gosh,
to
yeah.
beer,
So much we can do.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
Melody,
sure.
that historical book that I couldn't remember the title of is called A Sip Through Time, and
Mhm.
it is available on Amazon. That's Cindy Renfro is the author. But
Okay, thank you. I will look
yeah,
that up.
and hers go all the way back to like 1800 BC to modern times. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's cool.
it's a cool book. I've had a copy for years. Mine is all mead stained and chocolatey fingerprints.
That's the
and
best kind.
That is, yeah. So, but yeah, my copy's been through a bit, but I've had it for a long time, and it's a good book. It's definitely well worth it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And for anybody else out there, it's A Sip Through Time on Amazon. But yeah, she was a historical foodways person. She's the one that kind of, because of her, I ended up getting into that and doing that at living history demos in Renaissance and late Elizabethan and colonial and Rev War, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. So what all have you got that you've been working on since since the last several months or whatever?
So, right now we're getting ready to filter and bottle a Vermentino piment with wildflower honey.
Okay.
It's a little bit on the sweet side, but I did add a significant amount of acid, so it's got that nice little acid bite to it in addition to the sweet.
Okay.
I have a dry sizer that is also getting ready to be filtered and bottled. It's clarifying right now. It's Dan's original recipe of gravity. So we take a local cider mill last pressed and we make it into gravity. And then, around now-ish, we start bottling it. I have a sweet mead base that actually really overshot its alcohol tolerance and is now a very boozy dry mead base that I have to figure out what to do with 300 liters of 17% mead.
Oh boy.
Blending.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're definitely gonna have to do some of that. And we have Dan's one of his flagship recipes, which is called Voyage Dan's La Lune, which is black raspberry, regular raspberry, tart cherry, sweet cherry, black currant, blackberry. I think that's it. And then wildflower honey. And that is gonna take the majority of the next year to mellow out. So right now it's kind of boozy and it's very tannic. So it's got to mellow out some, but when we're done with it, we will have that going. I'm sorry, what, Kyle? Oh yeah, and we have it. Kyle reminded me. We have a maple wine that is currently fermenting right now as well.
Nice.
And we also have a metaphone.
Oh yeah, we have a very small batch.
Yeah, small batch of metaphone we're playing with.
Yeah, so that's where we're at right now.
Have you tried using gelatin to strip some of the tannins in that, like for instance, the mead you were just describing, where you need it to sit for a long time to drop the tannin? Have you tried anything like that?
I have not messed with gelatin much myself. Is it effective on that front? I've typically found more for.
It's a great clearing agent, and so if you're just a little bit over where you want to be, that's something that can help. It's not going to strip a massive amount of tannins, which is probably a good thing, but it will help. So I've done it. I made a choke cherry mead that I actually put into the Valkyrie's Horn competition, and I didn't think it would win anything, and it actually did. It took a second place, and that was one where I stripped some of the tannin with gelatins because it was the the initial go when I was doing bench trials. You couldn't hardly drink it because there was so much tannins.
Wow. Okay, yeah, thank you. I will definitely look into that. Because if I can get this on the shelf a little sooner, that'll free up a tank for something else.
Yeah, and that turnaround time was something else I wanted to ask about. What is your typical turn?
So that is kind of a complicated question for me because my typical turnaround time has been 2 to 3 months, but Dan's turnaround time is 6 to 8 months. So we've been kind of trying to reconcile that, and Dan has encouraged me to let things mellow and not rush things rather than to kind of get it on the shelf super fast. And we've had enough product that's not been an issue, but it's been a point of exploration for us over the last several months for sure.
Enter for 6 months, are you?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Are you tying up a fermenter for 6 months?
Well, yes, essentially.
Not entirely, but okay, yeah.
Essentially. So, we rack it several times, but it's taken up a tank at that point for, yes. And that's one of the things that as we scale up a little bit, we're going to have to work out just exactly how we do that. I think part of Dan's ethos has always been that the product is as high quality as you can get it, and I think most people find that a well-aged product is a good idea. And so there's the debate about whether something is acceptable or really great and how long we tie up the fermenter versus just getting it on the shelf and letting it maybe age in bottles or something like that. So like I said, it's a point of exploration for us that we're trying to figure out where the balance is right now.
Yeah. Well, aging in
I mean,
bulk
kegs
is
is a good way to store too. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so that's an option if that's something you're not doing. That would allow you to free up that fermenter and move
Mhm.
something else in there. But
I know
yeah,
a couple of
it's all
meaderies.
about how you handle your process.
Yeah, it is. I know a couple of meaderies that are using those big white totes, the ones with the metal cages around them,
Right.
and they,
Yeah.
if you've
Yeah,
got
and they're
enough
stackable
to
too. So
fill
that's
one
nice.
of those, that is, and they're pretty good size, but that'd be one way to get those tanks free.
Yeah, and we
Right.
have a number. We have like several Spidal fermenters that we can rack into as well. So we have some like 100-liter plastic fermenters that we use for aging and that kind of stuff. And we do have a number of kegs. In fact, I just emptied a bunch of them. So, but I do have like a huge stash of kegs right now that are full product. So
Do you do session meads as well?
we typically do not. Typically, if we do a session mead, it's more like we're cutting existing product with something to make it session rather than we're specifically producing a session mead. And part of it is because it's so much easier to not have to back sweeten.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Because you're making bigger, more alcoholic meads, you don't need to worry. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, sessions are great because quick turnaround time, easy drinkers. If you have a tasting room, you can put them on tap a lot easier.
Right. And use half as much honey.
And people can actually have two.
Yeah.
And still be able to walk out of the establishment.
Yeah.
Try more than one thing in an evening.
I just say this stuff at Ryan's at 14%. I'm just glad it was only $3.75.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to be able to explore session meads a little bit more because we do have a tap room and we do have some meads on draft. And currently there are higher ABV meads, so we do serve them in a very small glass. But I would like to explore that more. But at this time, that's kind of hitting the backseat to what we're already doing, if that makes any sense. That's going to be like kind of down the line exploration.
Yeah. Well, I'd say you can only juggle so many balls at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're working on perfecting your full ABV game and getting that where you want it to be. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
Got you a slushy machine at this tap room yet?
Not yet. That's going to be a summer purchase.
Okay.
I have my slushy machine already picked out that I want to get it. So that's definitely coming. But I have to get a month in 2026 where I'm not making negative money before I invest in a slushy machine.
Yeah. What do you think, Vic? Should we ask a couple of Nathan questions?
Oh, I think we should, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to warn you in advance, Nathan's questions have a tendency to be multi-part and a little complicated. So they do require that you pay some attention.
Okay.
But you can always ask for a repeat if you didn't get it all.
Okay.
All right. So his first question, how did your background as an assistant township manager for East... I don't even know how you would say that word. Cocalico?
It's Cocalico.
Pocalico. Okay, township. And Kyle, being in sales for a custom fence building company, lend favorably to your business acumen in running and marketing a meadery?
Wow, that's a hefty question.
Oh, yeah.
I warned you.
That's typical. I just say we always tell people be glad he doesn't do it in Latin because that's how he names
exactly.
his in Latin. Yeah.
So I'll start and then Kyle can finish. For me, so I have a master's degree in public administration and I quit my government job to run the meadery. And I think at least partially some management experience has been helpful because we do have employees. We're definitely needing to interact with people a lot. Also, customer service. In government, you're really into customer service, and in retail, you are as well. So I think that's helped a lot. I think this is kind of silly, but having the money to homebrew extensively before starting up the meadery has been very helpful. And government jobs tend to pay well and be stable, so that's been very beneficial to me as well. So that would be my answer to that, Kyle.
So, I worked at universities before and got my degree. The university was paying for me to go get my business administration and marketing degree. From there, I went to local municipalities. And it wasn't, I liked the job, but it wasn't what I was trying to get to out of life. And then I went into sales for marketing for the fence company and found I like just doing face-to-face interactions and trying to sell stuff, and that's how the meadery came about.
Okay. That's pretty cool. You feel like your education in marketing and business is gonna help you with running the meadery?
Yes and no. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of like when I was in college, I kind of blew some of my professors away with just my out of the box thinking and strategies,
Uh-huh.
which it kind of prepared me for the business world and marketing world. And then I would say yes, because I found out that I could test different strategies and trial, see what worked and what didn't work.
Okay. Are you running all the social media stuff too for the meadery?
No, that's Melody for now. I just come up
Uh-huh.
with kind of like ideas and then she runs with it.
Ah, okay. You're the idea man. She's the executor, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly how it is. So Kyle, I'm not the best with ideas. I if you tell me to do something, I can figure out how to make it happen, but coming up with a brand new thought process is a little difficult for me. So Kyle does the like the brand new thought process, and then I say, and this is what we need to do to accomplish that. Um, so that's kind of how we do it.
That makes good sense. I like it. Teamwork.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty cool. What have you got on the outlook for going forward? You thinking on some different lines or gonna keep going with what you're doing for now? And
I think our goal is to scale up relatively quickly. We're looking into some opportunities we're having now to begin that process, and we're considering what tools we have currently that we could maybe shift to accomplish that goal. So
mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be our big focus over the next couple of years is how do we scale effectively while still maintaining the quality and the relationship building that we've found is the key part of Spacetime.
Okay. And what's the distribution setup in Pennsylvania?
That's
far
gonna be so okay. So there's a Fine Wine and Good Spirits is the state store, and they apparently take first dibs on your product. So they tell you what they want to carry, and then they take so many cases off the top of your product, and you get what's left. There's also a few beverage distributors that are licensed to distribute outside of the state store, and you could go with one of those beverage distributors if you want, but you'd have to be what they're looking for.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the state stores when I was living in PA years ago.
Yeah, their meat selection has grown, but it's still not where we want it to be.
Nah, it never is.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, they're always behind. I mean, even here, we're pretty friendly. Shoot, they put booze everywhere. You can get booze at the gas station, at the grocery store, at the you name it. Pretty much any place that has any kind of food stuff generally has booze too, and wine and beer, and sometimes meat, ciders.
They have expanded, I think, over the last year or two. They started expanding into some grocery stores. So there's a chance that we could maybe go with Giant or something like that and get into one of those stores, or maybe even Wegmans.
Ooh, Wegmans would be great. I loved it
I
when
know,
we
right?
had a Wegmans in North Carolina, and that's one of the things I miss about living down there. It's like, God bless it, I wish Wegmans had come north. They aren't much in the Midwest, so.
Yeah, my goal is to try to get into Whole Foods.
Whole Foods would be good, but there you're contending with Amazon, since they own them now, and the fact that this would be true for Wegmans or Giant too, would be quantity. I've talked to eateries that have gotten in like Costco or Total Wine, and they're like, yeah, it was really, really awesome until we needed to come up with 4,682 cases of wine.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
So, I mean, because you're talking about, depending on whether they're putting you in, on the place, obviously, and whether or not it's like a regional thing, or, in the case of the Whole Foods, it'd be a national thing. So,
Right.
Although they're the one most likely to be willing to carry things like that because it's Whole Foods.
Right.
They have weird and eclectic stuff, and it's awesome.
So when we're a regional superpower, we can do that.
I love your thinking, hun. Where are you guys at volume-wise right now?
So are you asking how many cases we have, that kind of thing?
Cases, or however many, hundreds of gallons or whatever. I'm just curious where you're at volume-wise.
I would say maybe around, for the year, I'd say we're maybe around 500 gallons so far. And we have probably on the shelf, ready to go on the shelf, 50 cases. So we're itty bitty right now. We're teeny tiny. But
okay.
we're cranking up a little bit. So trying to get stuff churned out as much as possible while still maintaining quality.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let quantity oversee that. Are you guys filtering as well as everything else, or?
We don't filter everything, but we do filter the majority of our stuff. We have a Buon Vino Superjet.
Those things are great.
I know, right?
although maybe a little bit of underkill for at a pro level, but then the professional level filtering setups are stupidly expensive. So
it has 6 plates. We do fine.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's practical, but it's cheap, and that's what we can afford right now.
That's what you got right now. Yep. And this just,
Yep.
It's what it is.
And if you don't need to filter everything, and you don't have to filter everything, then you just use it when you have to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's grab another Nathan question here. Okay, so tell us more about your unique experience with carrot blossom honey for back sweetening and also for traditional show mead enjoyment.
I'm going to apologize on that and say I have not done the carrot blossom mead back sweetening. I think that was probably something that Dan did.
It might have been, yeah.
So I do not have a good answer for that, and I apologize to Nathan.
That's okay. Go out and learn your carrot honey, and we'll ask you next time.
Yeah, sounds good.
We actually had a vendor at Valks. They have a vendor there that brines. Kevin, is that right?
Fine honeys.
Yeah, and they had carrot honey there, and I ended up, much to my chagrin, coming home with a bucket of it.
Oh, man.
She had to leave those pails of honey just sitting up there where everybody could see them. I mean,
She
come
did.
on.
Yes, she did.
Oh, that was so mean.
It sounds delicious, though.
It is. It's kind of it's a different flavor because you get some earthiness and some caramely notes and just all kinds of. Somebody described it to me as already bochetted honey.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I said, and I'm like, so we might have to do something with that. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with it yet, but in fact, it's still
great.
yeah.
Keep it
So
updated.
yeah, worth looking into to see if it's something you might want. But carrot blossom is one that's not as commonly seen. And in commercial meaderies, it's pretty rare. You don't see it too much. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but I think just because you don't see tons of it floating around.
That's the only place you can find it is from somebody who's collecting honey out of the Pacific Northwest where they grow carrots for seeds.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense.
Because
so it's kind of
it's a biennial, so it blooms every 2 years.
Oh.
And basically the only reason you see it is because those are seed companies that are producing seeds for sale on the open market for gardeners. So,
Right.
it takes 2 years to get blooms, and that's why, that's just where they grow it for whatever reason. I mean, they could do carrots for seeds almost anywhere, I suppose, but
Well, yeah, but
it's a
Pacific
2-year deal,
Northwest
and
is
that's where
good
they
for
do
that
it.
kind of thing. Yeah, that's just like meadow foam. It's a
Mhm.
specific plant grown for a specific reason in a specific area.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why
The beauty of it is that it is monocrop. So,
Mhm.
yes, there's other nectar sources mixed in there, but you get a high concentration of that particular nectar source, which is what makes it so unique.
Yeah. Have you done a lot with varietal honeys?
Honestly, I have not.
I
I've
know you got a
used
meadow
one
foam
or
going right
two.
now, but it's
Yeah. Yeah, and that was actually meadow foam honey that I had got when I was homebrewing, and I just never got around to it. So I took it to the shop and plopped it in a fermenter, and off it went. So I haven't done a whole lot with varietals. I'm doing more though. We have a saw palmetto blossom honey mead on the shelf right now. And it's nice. It's a little on the earthy side. My very complex palated folks are obsessed with it. So,
okay.
yeah, it's been interesting, but we try to have a traditional or two available at any given time.
Okay, cool. What's the honey like that you're getting from your local place? I'm assuming it's kind of a general multifloral honey, but
So the PA preferred honey that I get from them is your standard wildflower. They have a fall blossom and a spring blossom. They also offer locust blossom, which is nice, and
nice.
we got the saw palmetto blossom from them. And then they have an orange blossom as well.
Okay.
But again,
So
those
when
are
you said
not
saw
pretty.
palmetto and yeah, I'm gonna say you said saw palmetto and Rob Barnhart just posted that he made a saw palmetto traditional. He said it was weird, almost good.
It is kind of weird. It is kind of weird. It's not my absolute favorite. It's a little bit of a slow seller. But it's very interesting. It's fun to drink, but it's not. I I don't think I would repeat it, honestly, because Meadow's got a very unique flavor that I think is kind of funky and it's unexpected.
Interesting. That is interesting. I wonder if it's funkier than buckwheat.
It's funky in a different way than buckwheat. So I have made a buckwheat traditional. And my buckwheat actually turned out very nicely. I mixed it with a milkshake stout to make a braggot. That was fun.
Oh, yum.
Yeah. Actually won third place at Mead Stampede. Third place in the braggot category at Mead Stampede with that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the buckwheat one is like really molassesy. It's almost like drinking a dark beer, but it's a mead. The Sapo Meadow is very light, but it's earthy, which is kind of an interesting combination.
Yeah. Earthy. That might be fun with one of those root vegetable meads that Dan McNevin makes.
Ooh, that does sound cool.
He did one, and it was like sweet potatoes and turnips and rutabagas and all root vegetables. And it was very savory mead, and it was really good. Surprising. I was not expecting to like it, but I did.
Way better than I ever would have expected. I thought it was going to be a train wreck.
Same here, yeah.
But it was very good.
Very good. Yeah. I was expecting, God, this could be really, really bad or really, really good. I don't think there's a whole lot of middle ground there. So,
another Nathan question?
Yeah, do the fruit and spice one.
The fruit and spice one.
Yeah, it's the second question.
That's weird.
You got different ones than I have?
I do not see that one.
Okay. Well, here, let me do it then.
Okay.
Your fruit and spice combinations are seemingly a one-step further variation on a theme with the evolution of your meads. When it comes to mixed berries and stone fruit, what are the volume challenges you've experienced in creating the right blends for highlighting 3 or more fruits in combination? It sounds like a question on the mead exam.
I'm gonna need like 2 seconds to think about that one first.
No worries. We're used to it.
Okay. I'm afraid this is gonna come across a little bit as a sidestep, but what I'm gonna say is what we've found is it's easier to work with what you've got and produce a slight variation on each product over and over again than worry too much about the volume issue, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So like this last batch of Voyage, which I assume is kind of what he's talking about. We have a general guideline for what we put in that Dan has developed over the years, but we're flexible with it. So what goes in at one instance doesn't necessarily go in at another. So for example, this particular batch, the fruit supplier that we have did not have tart cherry, and they weren't gonna get tart cherry. So we just got some tart cherry juice, a little bit of it, and we put it in. So this batch isn't going to be as high on the tart cherries as previous batches, but the overall product is still going to be high quality, maybe a little bit different. And I think Colony Meadery has a good way of doing this with their black that they produce every year. They produce a different black each year, and each black is very different from the last black. But it's because they're still experimenting on it. So I think that kind of philosophy is kind of how we follow that, as opposed to worrying about the overall volume. Am I understanding the question properly?
Yeah. I mean, you're answering it in what works, what works for you. So that's the idea. It's supposed to make you think,
Yeah.
So let's see here. How about this one might be easier? How does spice usually enter the picture to transform your expansion on these, such as the use of chai?
So for me, I like to use spice blends instead of one particular spice because I find a blend makes it a little bit easier. Say, for example, if I'm gonna use what's it called? Sorry, it's a little bit late. Um, no, not anise. No, cardamom. That's the one. If I'm gonna use cardamom, I use it with other spices because cardamom can have kind of an abrasive quality if you don't get it just right in your mead. So I tend to mix together like a bunch of different, say, whole spices and then add them to the mead together and then maybe take them out as I'm tasting it, take one spice out and then another. Um, as I go to try and add the right quality there, which is why I said like my pomegranate and mulling spice is one. There's like 7 or 8 different spices in there. But I find the effect together is better than just a few of them or even one.
Okay. I just got a note from Nathan. He says, you grabbed the wrong questions. It's like, sorry. Okay.
That might explain why you're seeing different ones than I am.
I'm going on what I put on there. Yeah. He's like, hey, read today's questions. I'm working on it, Nathan. Come on, give me a break, man.
Well, here's one while Vicky is searching for the correct questions.
Yeah.
In here, it says your Earthbound Maple is aged in a rye whiskey barrel. What considerations do you have for future projects or those of your mead peers that you've enjoyed?
So I haven't tasted a whole lot of maple wines myself. Our Earthbound Maple, the one that we have on the shelf right now, is a little bit on the drier side. It's very mapley, but it's very like smooth and dry. The one that we're making right now, the goal is to make it a little bit sweeter, a little bit less I don't even know, like maybe almost a little bit less complex because we're finding that folks don't like the complexity quite as much with the maple. They're looking for something that's a little bit easier drinking than that
It's
that's
mapley.
aged in. Yeah, that in the rye whiskey barrel, I think the barrel quality takes over a little bit some on the maple. So we intended to make it a little sweeter, a little bit more like reminiscent of actual maple syrup than our current one on the shelf.
Okay.
I figured out what I did wrong. I had your page and still had the page from the last show sitting up on my, because I never closed tabs on my browser. I closed that one. Nathan's like, you're reading Ryan questions. That's from last month. Sorry. I was wondering where Kevin got the East Cocalico thing. Yeah, I was like, so I'm not seeing that.
I'm not seeing that. I don't know what you're doing.
Then. Yeah. All righty.
That's okay. You know what? You had a long drive after the competition. It's okay.
Yeah.
There may have been alcohol involved. We're fine.
There may have been long nights in the party room with bottle shares. Yes, indeed. All right.
Nathan, there was a little bit of bottle sharing. Nathan saying she's obviously surprised by the carrot blossom. He's like, that's how he figured out I was doing it wrong. Okay, never mind. I'm back on track now. Kevin, you dropping?
Outside of what?
You dropped a little bit there.
Oh, all right.
Start that one over. You'd be fine.
Yeah, start that one over. We lost the first part of the sentence.
Okay. What has being a part of Lehigh Valley homebrewers meant to you in your growth in mead making outside of successfully medaling in competitions like Clam Jam?
Clam Jam, great name.
Never heard of that one, but now I'm going to look.
Yeah,
So,
and I love that name. It's awesome.
so for us, it was basically the growth through the Lehigh Valley home brewers. Um, we go to a different uh local brewery every month for our meeting. So you get to know the breweries around. They sometimes walk you through, show you what the process is. They also have teach a friend the homebrew day. They do a lot of stuff that educates people how to brew or different styles, and they just help open other doors that we might not been able to open.
So I would add to that. So I think what Kyle is talking about is like the networking aspect of it. We've gotten to know a lot of the local brewery and meadery and winery owners in the area, and we can ask them questions. We can get their product in our tasting room, that kind of thing. But also access to mead judges and people
Mhm.
who are experienced in tasting other than just ourselves has been great. I've taken many a batch and said, "Hey, what's wrong with it? Hey, how can I make it better?" And it just helped me grow as a person. So winning competitions, I would say, is is great, but it's a product of many meetings spent, thinking about my what I'm producing with other people who know about it.
Yeah. That's why you ought to come to some of the big comps, like Valkyrie's. There's a ton of people there, and the shares are kind of legendary. So
Yeah, that would be really fun. I would like to do that when our budget allows.
yeah, we got till next March. So
Yeah,
because we just finished that up this weekend. So,
yeah. I'd
but
like
it
to
was.
go to Mazer Cup sometime. That sounds fun.
We're hoping the Mazer comes back. We're all waiting to see if they're going to
Yeah.
bring it back this year or not. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. And I've been to the one in Europe. That's really great too. If you can swing it, it's well worth it. And Poland is like so cheap to be in. I mean, you can eat like a king on about $20 a day.
That sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, hotels are very reason compared to what we're used to here. So everything was a lot cheaper.
That's great.
Yeah, we had like an epic meal that cost $25 US. Would have easily been $100 meal here.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it just blew my
Okay,
mind.
sign me up.
Yeah, and you're getting mead makers from literally all over the world. They had people from all over Europe, all over the Eastern blocks. They had Asian, there was Korea and Japan and Thailand were all there. They're getting stuff from Mexico and Central America, and even some stuff. I don't know if they had any Africans up there this year or not, but I mean, they're really pulling in a lot of people from all over. And it's really cool because you get to see so many different, not just meet a lot of really interesting people, but you get to see so many different takes on mead, because other countries do things differently. I mean, you had Polish meads, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're totally different than what we make here. Well, okay, a lot of
Yeah.
people here are making them now, but when I first had a Polish mead many, many years ago, before people were actually making it at home, it blew my mind at how different it was, from what we're doing. So yeah, it was really, really neat. Plus, they've got honey varietals and herbal and spice combinations that are things that we don't think of. Stroopwafel mead comes to mind.
Ooh.
Yeah, this guy in what is he in Is he in Belgium?
Unique stall out
Danique,
of
yeah, he's in
the
Netherlands, isn't
Netherlands.
he? Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah,
He
because
made
the waffles are Netherlandish.
Yeah, Melody. This thing, I kid you not, was like drinking a stroopwafel. It
That's
was
so cool.
stupidly good. Yeah, it was. So Rob Barnhart in Alpena, and who's typing on the chat right now, probably to say I'm making one of those. He caught a deal on boxes of stroopwafels, so he's gonna make his own. And he
That's
says,
awesome.
and he says Barry's making a stroopwafel mead. Barry's his buddy. He's making a stroopwafel mead right now. But Yeah.
Mead.
Stroop mead, yeah. But they just come up with a lot of just wild stuff that, well, wild to us, that we wouldn't necessarily think of, mainly because it's not something that is not like a flavor profile that we think about. Different cultures.
Yeah. That's so cool. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. You need to branch out and try some of those. I don't know. Have you guys got a Total Wine anywhere near you?
I don't think so.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you did, London Mead Company used to be imported there, and he makes his mead came in cans, but he makes a bunch of sessions that were actually pretty good. No, that was the only overseas mead that I've seen. Polish ones you can sometimes find, but
Yeah, but those guys are called, their meadery is called Gosnells.
Gosnells, yeah, Gosnells, Mazer mead.
I don't know. I don't remember the
Yeah,
last part.
I forget. Yeah, but anyway, his stuff. I've had him on the show. He makes interesting
Mm-hmm.
meads.
Yeah, they were at MeadCon a few years also.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
They heat pasteurize all their mead.
Well, that's
wow.
true in a lot of Europe. I mean,
Yeah.
Poland. That's what they do. They're heat pasteurizing in Poland, and we watched them demonstrate the process. It was like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I had a lengthy conversation with him after the presentation to talk about adjustments they made to their flavor profiles due to the heat pasteurization. He said, yeah, they did. Initially, they didn't, and discovered that it was in fact changing the flavor of the mead. So they made adjustments. It took them a while to get there, but they made adjustments to compensate for that. So I thought that was kind of revealing.
Yeah.
How about another Nathan question here?
Let's do it.
All right. Some meaderies have trivia nights. Some engage at local markets, festivals, and fairs, even the Palmer Park Mall. What's up and new with mead and roller derby?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm very happy to answer that one. So, we have been a sponsor of the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Roller Derby for years now.
Nice.
And we are actually going to our first roller derby event of the year next week. And we are super pumped about it. Yeah, it's this weekend.
Yeah,
Sorry.
next week.
This weekend, I meant.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Kyle was clarifying. Yeah, so one of the things I think that sets mead apart is it kind of can be like a niche thing that fits well with anybody who's ever been othered, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of us have experienced being othered. And I think the roller derby is one of those things where people who've been often othered can go and feel safe. And so we find that going to those places, we fit in with the others and the others fit in with us, and we have a great time, and we can connect with people of a like mindset to us. And it's been a fun time. I'm really excited to go and see it myself because I haven't done a whole lot with roller derby myself yet. So I'm really looking forward to getting to experience that. But that's our mindset is connecting with the people that need connection, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Mead makers and meadery people in general, we tend to be a little weird. So
I had somebody say to me today, "You're the most normal mead person I've ever met."
yeah, we're a strange bunch, and that's okay. We all hang out together, so
Honestly, I'm not sure if that was an insult.
I know.
Normal is boring.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, normal is boring and predictable. You want something interesting and weird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, that's cool. You're sponsoring for roller derby. I always thought roller derby was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I've been following them on social media and I've been really enjoying connecting with the sport more. It's super cool. So
yeah, that's really neat. I don't know that I'd ever do something like that, not with my tendency to break things, but
Yeah.
I know.
I'm old and fragile these days, but it sounds like
yeah,
a
I'd
bucket
say
load of fun.
yeah, now I'm old and fragile, so that's not going to happen. But when I was younger, I probably would have just managed to break my neck or something.
Mm.
I wake up with a crick in my neck from sleeping on my regular pillow, so like I don't think I'm built for that.
Yeah, I used to do that too until I switched to one of those ergonomic foam pillows.
That's a good idea.
That's helped a lot.
I've got a buckwheat hull pillow that I just love. I just sit there and I get it situated and I smack it a couple of times. The buckwheat hulls move out of the way, and I've got a perfect head hole there.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, I've had that thing for
upgrading.
years. Got a body pillow filled with buckwheat hulls too. That thing weighs like 45 pounds, but it works great.
Bludgeoning device.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, when it rolls, if it falls off the bed, it shakes the room. You know?
Hurt one of the dogs.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about getting mugged.
Yeah, right? It hasn't squished a dog yet, thank God, but yeah. I usually have a dog sleeping on top of my body pillow. So
the dog likes the pillow too.
Oh yeah. The dogs love the pillow. That's just great. It's perfect for them. And they scratch it all around and they get it exactly how they want it, and then they set themselves down. But let's see here. Did we get are you still doing the Earthbound Maple?
Yeah.
Okay. Did we do the barrel question there, Kevin?
Yes, I think we did.
Did we?
Oh, okay.
So, oh, we did. Okay, that's when back we were talking about maple. I think we got all the questions then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nope. There's one hiding.
Oh,
I understand your meads are also great for cooking. Tell us how your temporal lock adds to your culinary experiences.
So I'm trying to figure out, is Nathan in my head?
No, you're not the first person to say
It's
that.
a little scary that way.
And it's better not to think about it. So just, you know.
So aside from Nathan's magical mind reading powers, so temporal lock. Oh, I know where he got that from. He saw our social media. Yeah. So temporal lock is fun. It's got Pinot Grigio vibes. It's a light, dry apple and honey wine, so sizer. And we were like, I had somebody come up to me who said, I don't drink, but I want to get something to cook with. What's your best cooking one? And I was like, oh goodness. So I sold them a bottle of temporal lock, and then I went home that weekend and I made a pasta with temporal lock, and I was like, this is actually pretty good. This is great.
You can make a nice sauce out of that.
Yeah, exactly. So we found that, you know, a nice light, like, cooking mead can be just as enjoyable as you would do anything with a cooking wine. And that was kind of a new perspective for us, and some of our customer base was really excited by that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I cook with wine all the time, so it's good to have that. And there's been some meads that I've gone, oh yeah, this is
Yeah. And then of course you could always
cook with
make
a lot of
vinegar.
meads actually.
Yeah.
I end up cooking with more of it than I drink.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Mostly just because I forget that I can drink it and I'm always cooking. So
that's fair. I forget I can drink it too. I just am eternally drinking out of the, you know, the bottom of my fermenter, or not drinking at all.
Yeah. I would say after doing this for 40 years, between making and learning about mead, I've gotten to the point where pretty much I drink on the show. I'll have a glass of mead.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll have one on a Friday or Saturday night. And that's about all the drinking I do, which is hilarious because I've got hundreds of bottles of mead in the basement.
Well, we always joke I've got a brewing problem, not a drinking problem.
Same.
My thing is, I like to watch other people drink my mead. I like it, but I'm not there to drink it myself necessarily. I'm there to serve it to you and see you enjoy it.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. I just want to know what everything tastes like.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could be like Annie Zipser. She brings a little half-ounce
thimble.
shot glass.
Yeah, for thimble. Annie's
for thimble. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we serve
Excellent.
our samples out of communion cup.
Oh, okay.
I tell people it's like church without the sermon.
Nice. That's great.
Hey, Jesus did turn water into wine.
Oh yeah. I've been told a few times I should get a contract with some of the local churches.
Yeah, I've often thought that my local church, I'm like, this Morgan David stuff is getting kind of old. Remember if I brought some mead, if Pastor would just bless that, and then we could, use that for communion. So,
There you go.
There's a whole bunch of old people in my church, so I'm afraid I'd like knock somebody over or something.
Hey, some of my best clients are old people.
I know. Well, I'm one of the old people, so I'm just one of the young people in my church because they're all older than me. So it's weird because I'm like an old fogey in the mead world, and yeah, and I'm a spring chicken in at church, so it's weird. But that's not a bad thing necessarily. I mean, I don't know how they make those kinds of decisions, but I mean, anything, any wine can be blessed,
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I
So,
don't know why we couldn't have, communion mead.
yeah. Go find one of the Polish Orthodox churches.
There we go.
Yeah. Orthodox probably be all for it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, this is cool. I'm glad you guys got a place from Dan and then it didn't just, slide off into obscurity. That would have been sad.
Yeah. It would have been, especially because Dan did some really great things and continues. I mean, he's still, helping us out. He's still making mead, doing all that kind of stuff. So, like, it's really
Nice.
nice to not have it end and to have it continue on and be, still
Yeah.
something people can enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like you guys have picked up and carried forward really nicely.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're trying our best.
It takes time, I mean, this is it's not an easy thing to do. Run a meadery,
Yeah. It's complicated. There's a learning curve for sure. And I've had to learn a lot of new things, and I think Kyle has too, but it's really good. It's really fun, and it's a happy thing for me. So
Yeah.
I was not as happy in my government job. So
I can't imagine being like particularly happy in any government. I've worked a couple of government jobs and it's like, yeah, okay, I was all right, but I'm really kind of glad to be off doing something else now.
Pays the bills and has good bennies, and that's about all you can say.
And that's
about
about it. Yeah.
it was a little rough. It was a little rough for sure. We'll just say I'm glad to be doing what I'm doing now. And
There
I'm
you go.
glad that my government job led me there.
Yeah, there you go. It got you into a position where you could do this, and that's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. And that you made the leap into full time right away. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
That is not easy.
so the state kind of told me, they're like, if you're going to manage this, you have to not have a job on Fridays. And I was like, okay. Um, so I guess I'm quitting my job now. But I was going through some stuff at my work, and it was time for me to part ways with them. So we just kind of took the leap, and we're on a very tight budget right now because Kyle's the one, paying most of the bills.
Carrying
So.
things. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. So, but we're making it. We're surviving, and it's been really good.
Nice. Well, and you're slowly picking up speed, so things will ease up as you go forward, I mean.
Yep.
And it sounds like you've got a great mentor helping along.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dan is invaluable. Like, he's so fantastic. He's so helpful. He'll talk over anything with me, and I really appreciate it. He's been
He's good.
absolutely wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah, I like Dan. He's a good guy.
He is.
Glad he's
Yeah.
kind of keeping a hand in, we haven't seen, he's never really been super active in the greater community in terms of like showing up at events and competitions and stuff like that. You'd see him occasionally, he's
Yeah.
kind of a homebody, so to speak, and that was fine too. Lots of people are, but I'm glad to hear that he's kind of keeping a hand in the game,
Yeah, for sure. I think Well, what he told me was that he really wanted to take some time with his family and spend more time with them. And so he loves making mead. So he was like, the mead making is fine. It's the whole business thing that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
All the rest of
So
it.
I think the ideal situation for him is, not having to spend all day, every day tied to the winery, but then still getting to pop in and do whatever he wants to do. Because I'm not gonna tell him, oh, you can't make this. Of course, if he wants to make it, he can make it. So
Yeah.
he kind of gets carte blanche on that front, and then he's mentoring, and I hope I'm trying to make sure that he has the time with his family and doesn't get called to us all the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. At those Sunday night. Oh my God! I just went to rack this and look at what it's doing. What do I do now?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it happens.
It definitely does.
Yeah, hopefully not often, but it does happen. So
Learning experiences.
I texted him the other day about my 17% dry sweet mead base, and he was like, "Let's see how far we can push it."
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, why not? I mean, if you can get a good tasting thing, there'll be people who'll be all over that. So
Yep.
And there's plenty of folks that like the high ABV stuff. I did when I first got started. It was, I mean, a lot of us did get in there and go, how far can we push it? Because we're curious. And
Yeah,
now,
most people do some batches. It's like, well, the yeast says it can do this. Why don't we do this? And
Why don't
then
we
you
do that
realize
anyway?
that, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
But if you did, you should definitely explore what you can do with it.
Exactly. Yeah, you might get to the point of finding out, I don't really want to do it this way anymore.
I definitely had to switch up which yeast I was using, because my favorite yeast is RC212. And there's a few reasons that I've decided to switch back to D47. And the two big reasons are RC212 is super boozy. And it also is very low flocculating. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll let you go here shortly.
No, you're good. It doesn't clear well, especially at the larger volume. So, it's kind of a bummer, but if I do want to make a boozy batch, I definitely add RC212.
I end up using it for like any strong reds, like red fruits. Like I always use that for my red currant.
Yeah, I did.
I just find it. I find it a nutrient hog and a whiny pants, so it needs to be sat on a lot. But it's worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I enjoy it. You know what I like is I like a good orange blossom traditional made with it.
Oh God, I can only imagine.
It's so good, so delicious.
That reminds me, I gotta put together some things of orange blossom to put in your box, AJ.
Yay, orange blossom honey.
Yeah, I'll have to give you the list, and and you can tell me what and I'll shoot you some containers of honey. AJ can't get a lot of the varietals up her way. She's up in Canada.
Yeah, and right now we're certainly not importing any damn things. So
oh goodness,
sorry. Yeah. So gifts only.
Yeah, that's okay. AJ's headed your way next month, so or so I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, this has been cool, and it's been nice having you on. I'm so glad you got in touch with me last week. I was like, oh my God, yes, because you were actually on my mind to get in touch with. So
yeah, thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it. It's been fun to chat with you all.
Likewise.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do with the place, and what you're going to come on, start getting out into the community so everybody can meet you. Yeah,
we will. We're gonna try and get involved a little bit more again as we have budget. But as the business expands a little bit, we might be able to have a little bit more room for that kind of activity. So we're gonna try.
Nice thing is that as more or less a tax write-off. So if you have
True.
the money up front to do it, you can at least write it off on the back end, you know.
Right. Exactly.
Of course, as my husband loves to point out, yes, honey, you can write that off, but don't you have to have the money first? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's like details.
Oh, you
It's
know.
only equivalent to whatever your taxable rate is. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. Theoretically, it can't exceed what you make in the
I
company.
mean, if you spend $1,000, you're in 30% bracket. You get 300 off. You don't get the 1,000 off.
Oh no, not at all. But basically, though, when you're doing the business tax exempt thing, all you're really doing, or tax exempt tax write-off thing, is all you're doing is saying this is my profit and loss, and these expenses were part of that, and so therefore it impacts the profit in this way. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yep. My Kyle's boss always says, you don't want to make too big of a profit.
Yeah. I've had that told to me on several occasions too. It's like, you don't want to make too much money. They want it all then.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it's knowing how to work the system.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
But we'll let you guys get back. I know it's late, so.
Yeah, thank you for having us, and you guys have a great night.
Yeah, thank you.
You
You
too.
too.
Thanks so much for coming on,
Take
you
care
guys.
and good luck.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, good
Bye.
night. We got a ton of stuff going on around the area, and we've also got some great upcoming guests. And of course, I forgot to copy them over.
Been that kind of day, huh?
It has. I don't know why it's been that kind of day, but it's been that kind of day. I've been feeling discombobulated since before I left for Valks, and I don't know why. It's one of those you feel like you're out of place kind of things. Yeah. So coming up, we've got, and I'm putting these up as events on the Got Mead Facebook page. April 7th is Carlos Herrera with Texas Longhouse Meadery, and April 21st is Blair Housley at Etowah Meadery, North Georgia. And he's the one that has the pawpaw mead that he sent me that I haven't opened yet because I'm waiting for him to come on the show. But yeah, he also sent me pawpaws, so we're going to be talking pawpaws with him. But some good stuff coming up, and there's a whole bunch of activities and meaderies around the country. March 26th, we've got Valhalla Meadery in Bozeman, Montana, has a music jam night. March 27th, Pips Meadery in Gurnee, Illinois, has Cousins Maine Lobster coming in and serving lobster. It's like, ooh, I think I want to drive to Illinois. March 28th, Cimerian Meadery in Orlando, Florida, has Bonsai and Cheers with L&J Nursery. March 28th, Folklore Brewing and Meadery in Dothan, Alabama, has the Dothan Songwriters Festival. March 28th, Queen's Arms in Helston in the UK has a meadery night. March 29th, Wandering Wind Meadery in Charleston, West Virginia, has a mead making workshop. March 31st, Honey Tree Meadery in Nashville, Tennessee, has Writers Night and open mic. April 1st, Wild Blossom Meadery and Winery in Chicago has Optimo Swing live jazz. April 2nd, Dancing Skeleton Meadery in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, has a trivia night. April 2nd, Valhalla Meadery in Bozeman, Montana, has music jam night. April 4th, Queen's Reward Meadery in Tupelo, Mississippi, has a meadery and books. They've got a mobile library coming to the meadery. It's like, ooh.
That's fun.
Yeah. April 10th, Bloom Mead and Cider in Ann Arbor, Michigan, has a Full Moon Candle Bar. Full Moon is a holiday there in the college town. I'm not sure exactly what the holiday is about, but apparently it's a really big deal in Ann Arbor. So they're doing, and you light candles, and there's all kind of interesting stuff going on. So definitely worth it if you're in the area. April 10th, Bannock Meadery, Crown Point, Indiana, Paint and Drink, Spring Chickens. April 11th, Mershon's Artisan Cider in Stoughton, Wisconsin, has the Wisconsin Cider and Mead Festival. April 11th, Wild Blossom Meadery in Chicago has a wine run 5K. April 12th, Clear Skies Meadery in Rockville, Maryland, has an acoustic jam. Also on the 12th, Moondog Meadery in Durham, North Carolina, has modern calligraphy for beginners. On the 16th, Dancing Skeleton Meadery in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, has a fiber crafts evening. That sounds really cool. Oklahoma's a bit far to get to, though. April 17th, Pips Meadery in Gurnee, Illinois, has Magnine with live music. April 18th, the Mac Ice House in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia is having a uniquely West Virginia wine and mead festival. April 18th, Hex Meadery in Kaukauna, Wisconsin has Lincoln Ink with Sealed with a Spark and Shelby Lynn. So they've got like tattoos and some interesting stuff going on there. Yeah. April 18th, Grimsby Hollow Meadery in Middleville, Michigan has Drink Mead, Learn Things, Europe Under Siege, The Weapons That Won Kingdoms. Yeah, they do some good stuff. April 19th, Crafted Artisan Meadery in Mogadore, Ohio has Make a Sand Art Terrarium. And pushing it out there, this one just popped up on my list, so I added it. June 6th, the Firm Meadery in Houston, Texas has Fire and Our Bones live music. And support your local meadery. Go see their events. If you don't have a local meadery, you can get mead from all over the country on shopmeads.com. And that includes mead from the place tonight at Spacetime Mead and Cider. So definitely check that out. And of course, if you want to get your event on Got Mead Live, let us know at gotmead@gotmead.com and we'll put it up for you. In the meantime, y'all be excellent to one another and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.